All right, I think we are all good to go. If there's anyone on, if you could just write a comment and let me know that we're working. And my internet is being perfect. I see Anne's on here. Sound, is it okay? Can everybody hear me okay? And there is going to be a bit of a delay. There's about a 30-second delay on these things, so when you're asking a question, it might just take me a little bit to respond. And just so you know, if you are watching this at a later date, this will be on YouTube, and you can follow along and do the class later. Hi Heather, thanks for joining. All right, so we are doing coloring a digital stamp that is available on Stamp Anniething. It is called So Lucky, and you can get all the cut files to create this card, and on the inside it has "To Have You in My Life," so this is great. It's not just a St. Patrick's Day card. You could give it to somebody you care about. Now we're also going to be using the Feeling Lucky stencil that Anne designed, and you can do so many techniques with this. You could use texture paste, you can use your embossing ink pad and do some heat embossing through this. So many techniques you can do with stencils, but today we're going to focus on coloring the image, and then we're going to quickly put it together. So I have all my pieces cut out already, so here is our image, and I'm going to start with the skin tone. So let me just grab my colors here, and I will let you know what colors I am using. So for my skin combo, I like to use E04, E11, so here we are, E11, let's get this the right way, E11, E21, E00, E50, and R20. So this is my favorite skin combo. I use this a lot for Caucasian skin color. There's tons of different Copic combos for skin that you can use. This just happens to be my favorite one. So let's start with coloring the skin first. All right, good. I'm seeing more people are popping on here. Let me just going to try loading this on my computer as well. So I'm going to do my best to keep an eye on the comments. If you have any questions, again, just let me know and I will do my best to answer. So I have mine printed on my favorite paper. I'm using Hammer Mill. I believe it's the, do I have it written down somewhere still? It is it's Hammer Mill 100 pounds color copy cover, and I get mine on Amazon. And this is just my preference, personal preference. So I'm going to see if I can zoom in. It's not letting me zoom in. Oh, there we go. All right, so let's start coloring. So I'm going to use E04. So we're going to put this where people can see. And I like to go in with my darkest areas. So along the hairline would be slightly darker. So I'm going to go in. And yes, this is a scary color, but just trust me, it'll all work and look great. So I'm just going where I think it would be the darkest, and I'm just going to focus on her head for now, and then we'll do her arms, neck, and legs after. Alright, so that was E04. Next I'm going to do E11, and it would help if I use the brush tip. So, and I'm just going to go completely over top of the E04 to start the blending, and then a little bit past it and farther from where I stopped with the E04. And this is E11. And just put a link to the paper if you want to check it out on Amazon. Alright, so next we're going to do E21. And again, I'm going to go over top of what I colored and then a little bit past it. And again, if anybody has questions, please don't be shy, ask away, because sometimes I feel like I am talking to myself, which, you know, I am, but it's always nice to have some company. Hey, Kelly. I just got a little in the eye, so I'm just going to use my 0. So far we've used E04, let's see if I can get this the right way, E04, E11, and E21. Next we're going to do E00. And this is where I like to start to kind of flick a little bit, so I'm just going to flick away from where I was coloring. I'm going over top of what I've colored already, and then I'm just flicking just to try and blend and soften. Then I'm going to go down into the cheeks a bit. Kevin says, excited to watch the Master of Copic's color. Oh, you're too kind. Thanks. All right. So that was E00. Now I'm going to go into my cheek color, which is R20, and I'm just going to set those in so I can kind of start to blend it a bit. So I'm just going in with my R20. And then I'm going to go with my final color, which is E50. And I'm just going to start to, at the cheeks, to blend that out. And I'm going to try and leave a nice white outline around the eyes. And I'm just slightly going into where I color. I like to flick away from myself. Alright, so there is layer 1. Hey Candace, thanks for coming. Oh my goodness, there's a whole pile of more people. Thank you for joining in. Alright, so now this is layer 1. I like to do 2 layers just to get a good blend. So I'm going to go back with my E04. Let me just set that there. And I'm not going to go as far as I did the first time. I just want to slightly hit those areas where I used E04 before. And then I'm going to go back in with E11. This blend is usually a little quicker the second go around. Hey Dana, thanks for coming in. Alright, and next I'm going to go to E21, and yes, I'm just coloring upside down. I like to color away from myself when I'm working on, when I'm flicking. So when I'm coloring, I have just the tip of my marker, and I just put pressure in areas where I want it to come out a little more thicker. And next, E00. I'm not worrying if I get some in the hair, it's not a big deal. Down into the cheeks. And I'm going to go back to my cheek color, which is R20. So Tiffany says, this may sound stupid, but what would you say is the biggest difference between Prisma colored pencil, let me just expand that, and versus Copics, trying to decide if I should really make the switch. I love my pencils. I would say for me, the biggest difference is, well, one is time. It takes a lot longer to color with Prisma color pencils than it does with Copics. I think markers are a very fast medium. And then secondly, I think you get a lot more depth with colored pencils than you can with, well, you can get a lot of depth, obviously, with, sorry, I'm using E50 for this. You can get a lot of depth with markers, but there's just something about colored pencils. You can get so much more depth and vividness I think, with them. So I think they're two different beasts and give two different looks. So, but I love to play with both. I think they're fun and they both do something different. So it's just, what do you enjoy more? So I've done my second coat. Now what I like to do is go back to my R20, and I just like to go into the shadow areas and hit them up a bit, and then I'll go back with my E50 just to soften that. Alright, so we've got her head done, and the colors might be slightly blown out. Let me just see. Alright, and now I'll show you how I like to do the tongues. So I like to use E04, and I'll color in the tongue completely. This is just my little trick on how I do it. So I color it in completely, and then I like to take my colorless blender and just push away the color and flick from side to side to get a highlight in there, and then I'll go back in with my E04 and just darken it up a bit, and then sometimes I'll go in with my R20 just to soften that, and then you get a little highlight there. So here's where we're at so far. So let's do her neck and her arms first, or next. So her neck, I'm just gonna draw a line straight across underneath there. And then for her arms, we're gonna keep this simple, and I'm just gonna draw a line slightly going down just like that. And then just where there would maybe be a bit of a shadow from this clover. Thanks for the thumbs up, guys. Alright, so that was E04. Next we're going to do some E11. And again, we're just going to slowly blend out that color of the E04 and work down. Oops, make sure I'm in here. Alright, and then go to E21. And just slowly, we're working our way down. E00. Sometimes I feel like I'm playing Battleship when I'm saying all these words, or all these numbers. Alright, and next we'll do E50. And then I forgot her hand, so I'm going to go with E11 here. Just do the bottom. E21. And then I'll just go in with E50 to color that last part. And before I put the lid on, I'm going to go back with my R20, and I'm just going to add some shadows with that, as well as under the neck. And then blend that out with my E50, just to soften that R20. So there, we've got arms and neck done. This is going nice and quick. That's one thing I love about the images that Anne does. They're so fun to color. But you're not spending hours and hours coloring them. You certainly can. I love to go kind of crazy and spend some time coloring hair every now and then. I think the hair is just so fun to color. But yeah, they're just so fun and cute to look at. Alright, so let's do her legs. So I'm just going to do where there would be like a drop shadow from her dress. And then let's give her some shadows where her knees would be, and my hand might get in the way here, but I'm just going to draw with the E04 just a slight line under here, just like that. And then next I'm going to go with the E11 and just like we've been doing, going straight over top of the EO4. I'm going to start to round this just ever so slightly. I'm going to go right over top of the knee, the EO4. Hey Jesse, thanks for popping in. And next is E21. And we're just going to go again over top, but I'm going to start to build shape here. So I'm just going around. All right, and next is E00. And then, actually, I think I want to come down just a little more with this E00. And then lastly, E50. All right, and then again, we're going to go in with the R20 and just darken some areas here where it's the dark, or where there'd be shadows, and then I'm going to soften it with my E50. So there we go. All right, Jessie Banks, what did she ask her? I make such a mess if my images are not cut out before I color. You know, I usually just stamp my images. I wish I could show you how I normally do it, but one of the images I would show you is from the release that's coming up this week, so I can't show you yet. But I usually just stamp mine on my 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 sheet, and I just color, and sometimes I'll test color swatches on the side, so it's a real mess, and then I just cut the images out after. So that was pretty easy, right guys? We had we got the skin done. That was quick, easy, and painless. So let's do hair next. That's going to take some time. So for hair, I used E09 and YR18 and YR. Oops, not YR. That would be bad. YR14. So this is my hair combo we're going to use. And Jessie said she loves fussy cutting. I don't mind fussy cutting to a degree, but I'm really picky. I like it to be nice and even all around, and that is something you'd think I'm a dog groomer by trade. You'd think I would be able to cut an even width around, like a border around all my images, but I do not have that ability. So let's start with E09, and I like to break hair up into sections. So let's do her bang area first, where they're kind of braided. Yes, Anne said, pretty redhead girl coming up. Yep. Well, she is Irish, I think, so all Irish people have to be redheads, I would think, right? So, not biased at all or whatever. So, E09, and I'm literally holding my marker straight up and down. Let me just see if I can zoom out a bit. I'm sorry if this is going fuzzy. And since that's what the scan and cut is for fuzzy cutting. Exactly. All right. So yeah, so I'm literally holding my marker straight up and down, and I'm just using the very tip, and I'm just gonna flick. Lots and lots of flicking. And then I'm gonna go to YR18. And don't worry, it doesn't have to be perfect. I like to go over the hair a couple of times. And then YR14. And I find going over the hair 2, sometimes 3 times. It depends if my markers are giving me good hair or bad hair that day. How many times I go over. So I'm going to do, again, E04 or E09, sorry. And I'm just gonna do some flicks. And flicks. So that was E09. YR18. And then YR14. Alright, I'm going to put all my colors I'm using. Where is it? Let's see. Alright, seeing lots of comments in here. Alright, so I might just hit a few areas again. Alright, so let's just keep going. So I'm just going to do section by section here. I might work on a couple. I'm going to live on the wild side and do a couple of strands of hair at once. This is about as wild as I get. So did everybody see the Oz release that happened, was that last week or the week before? And did you all love it? I was so excited when Anne told me about it. I think it was almost a year ago when she started talking about it. And oh my gosh, it was just so cool to see it come to fruition. Jesse says, I need to order some of that yet. It's amazing. It is. And I'm so excited that there is dies and stencils. I love stencils. I'm a big stencil user in my card making. I think they add so much. Cal says, I love the Oz release. Tiffany loves the Oz set. What was your favorite image from the release? Anybody have any favorites? I think I'm a little biased when I say the Tin Man was pretty awesome. Kelly said, loved your cards from the Oz release, ordered the bundle. Awesome. Yeah, that was an amazing price too, the bundle. Hopefully lots of people got to take advantage. The lion was so cute. Yes, and I don't have the patience for strand by strand. Oh, Jessie doesn't have the patience for strand by strand hair coloring. Jessie is an amazing Copic colorer. I believe, what is your name on, I think you're Jessie Banks on YouTube, right? Or is she, yeah, is it Jessie Banks on YouTube? Raquel's image is Glinda. Anne says she loves them all, but she's biased. Well, yeah, they are all her kids. And yeah, there's a release, Jess-C on YouTube is Jessie Banks' YouTube channel. If you want to check out some of her coloring. And I believe you're guesting this month, aren't you, Jessie, for Stamp Anniething? Alright, so yeah, I'm just going strand by strand, and I'm going to just tell you, so this marker is really juicy, so I'm going to take both caps off, and it repressurizes the marker so it doesn't blob on you. That's always something, keep an eye on the nib of your marker. If it's starting to look kind of really juicy, take both caps off. Alright, so that was E09. So yeah, I'm just going back and forth between E09, YR18, and YR14. The hair and the skin is where I love to spend my time on these images. Let's let's see. Monica says, never knew about the blob of ink. Yeah, it's a nice trick. I learned that. I took the Copic certification last year in Phoenix, Arizona. I got to go to Creativation, and I took the certification while I was there, and I learned about that. And gosh, I ruined a whole pile of images before I learned that. And I love to fly with my Copics too, like when I'm on an airplane, and I automatically take all of my the caps off, because the change in pressure makes them want to blob. Monica said, I just thought I was holding my pen too tight. Alright, so yeah, let's work on this side now. Isn't it just amazing how much they come to life? Like, I just love... I think that's one of my favorite things about coloring, is just watching them slowly come to life. Yeah, and Jesse says, or if they've come overfilled. Yeah, if you bought a new marker, especially the darker colors, you definitely want to get into a habit of taking that cap off for the first while until you used up some of the precious ink. Alright, so back to YR18. So is everyone excited about the March release coming up on, that's this Wednesday, I believe, from Stamp Anniething? Yeah, I think it's Wednesday. Really love this release. I love every release, so I'm biased, but I really do love this one. Jesse said, I've been collecting 7 years, and I don't have them all, but I need them all. But I don't need them all. I completed my Copic collection last year. I think it was in the springtime. I used to teach classes at a local store, and I used all my... I just took store credit for it, and I saved up all my money, and I finished my collection. And it's funny, I don't think I've used all of them yet, except for swatching out colors. Yeah. So how's everybody doing? Is anybody coloring along with, or just watching? Right. Are you going to teach again? I miss you, Heather. I said that. I would love to. I have a projector and everything to do my own classes. It just was, I was planning on doing one this month, holding my first class, but then I got a puppy just a couple weeks ago, so between that and then I had the release for the Oz release to do, and then I'm on 2 other design teams, so I was working on all of those, so it was almost like 4 company releases within 2.5 weeks, so that kind of put the brakes on my class. So I'm hoping for either April is kind of when I'm hoping to do a class, if I can make it happen, if life just slows down just a bit, but I would love to. I do enjoy getting to see everybody. They're fun to teach those classes. Alright, so we've got the top of her head done. So, yes, and vacation. I went on vacation. I was in Florida for almost a week. And we saw Harry Potter. We were like at Universal, and yeah, I just love Florida. It's like my home away from home. And Anne lives there, so lucky. Maybe we should change the name of this one, the stamp set, to So Lucky to Live in Florida. But no, I love coming home. I love where I live. I love visiting Florida, though. I try and go twice a year. So E09, we're going to go to... Jessie says, I don't know how you teach live. I don't think I would do it. Oh, you can. Hey, Mindy. What else? That YR14 really makes it so pretty. Yeah, it does. It just adds that highlight, a nice bright highlight. All right, and now YR14. So kind of the first time I go, I'm trying to I go for almost just a blend, just to get it colored, and then the second time I'm adding texture. And darkening areas. I think we'll make these dark too. Alright, so that's E09, YR18, and YR14. I think I just want to go back to the YR18. Just work at that. It's one thing I love about this paper, the hammer mill, is you can keep going over and over and over it, and you rarely ever get tackiness or like that buildup of the Copic markers. Like I found, and I think that depends on where you live too and what the climate is like. But yeah, I find like this one I don't get that buildup. So let's do this. So back with the E09. And again, anyone have questions, just ask away. I'm going to try my hardest to keep an eye on the comments. Heather said she's never been to Florida or seen Harry Potter. Like, the Harry Potter movies, you haven't seen them at all? And if you haven't seen them, I'm gasping right now. I love Harry Potter. I think my favorite is... I love Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, and Star Wars. Those are my addictions. Would you please tell me the markers you use for skin? I started with in too late. Okay, so my skin combo is the following. So I use E04. I'm going to just put these on the camera. This is my skin combo. E04, E11, E21, E00, E50, and R20. This is my go-to skin combo. I've been experimenting with other combos for the last year, trying to find one, but this has been my favorite. I know, like, you can do... There's tons and tons of others, but this is just my personal favorite. Alright, I think I'm just going to go with the YR18. Heather said she's never seen Harry Potter. Just not interested, or just too busy to see it. And Anne says, I'm a Harry Potter obsessed fan. I have watched them so many times. I watch them while I'm making my cards. I'll just put them on and watch them. Heather said Kim gasps too, Stephen. I bet she would. I know she gets jealous every time I go. Sometimes I'll send her little teaser photos. Look where I am. Alright, so I'm just coloring in with the E09 and the YR18. Jessie says, don't worry, Heather, I don't like Harry Potter either. And Anne told Jessie that we can't be friends now. Alright, so I'm just working down my combos here. Alright, so let's finish the hair right here. Raquel says, tried watching Harry Potter and fell asleep. See, the first couple are okay. I think it's when they get to the later episodes, I think that they've grown as actors, the kids that play them, and the story is just a lot better, I think. I'm not a fan of the first couple movies, but I do love Prisoner of Azkaban. I think that is a good one. Alright, so E09, YR18. Try not to get this hair color on the skin. And then YR14. Leanne says, gasp, Harry Potter is the best. It is. Dana says, I love Harry Potter. And Monica said, yeah, that was the best one. Yeah, Universal did such a good job on the amusement park, especially the newer one, Diagon Alley. Oh my gosh, you walk down it and you'd swear you're in the book or in the movie. Alright, let's color that. And then I'm going to go in here and just color this one fairly dark. So E09, I'm going in with that again. YR18. And YR14. Jessie says, I'm a true crime weirdo. Her hair looks amazing, thanks. And Heather says, this hair is amazing, love Anne's images. Me too. I forget how I found Anne. I found her images somewhere on, I think in one of the Facebook groups, and I was grooming dogs at work, and I was like, I gasped when I saw the images. I'm like, I need these images. And I ended up ordering a whole pile of them because I've never seen anything like them. I love coloring hair, love coloring skin. And these are like the perfect combo for me. Alright. When not doing a video, how long does it normally take you to color a single image? I would say 20 minutes to do one. Depends on the hair, really, too. Like, more complex hair will take me a little longer. And I would say this is a little more complex. But yeah, I'd say 20 to 30 minutes to color an image. Most of my design team cards they take me about an hour to do, I would say, to color and put them together. But I am like trained, and to me that's fairly quick, but like with what I do with the dogs, I have to be precise, quick, and that's how I try and do my cards too. Have you had to pay customers on any of the images? Have you had to pay customs on any of the images? Oh, no. I haven't. I haven't had any issues with that so far. And I've gotten some huge, well, the last package I got was all of the images for, well, I think I got 6 months worth of images, so I haven't had to pay duty on that. I have with some companies, but I have not yet with Anne. Alright, oops, I got a bit on her skin. Melvin says, I think the hair is always the difficult part, and this image has lots of hair. It does. So I just got a bit of the hair color on the hand. I'm just fixing that, and this is why I like to keep my skin combos out, just for touching up if I get any on the skin. It's the nice thing about Copics, you can layer, keep layering. If you're not liking something. I missed the coloring of the skin. Do you use the typical E00, 11, and 13? No, I use E04, E11, E21, E00, E50, and then for the blush color, I use R20. And we'll have all the colors listed. I think they're in the blog post for this, if you missed it. Monica says yours looks like it has a touch of pink to it. Yes, that is the E04 and the R20. Oh, no problem. You're welcome. Yeah, any questions, just ask away. It'd be pretty boring if you just were sitting here watching me color, I think. All right. We're almost in the home stretch, guys. This is doing pretty good. All right. So there is our hair. Just going to touch up a few areas. I'm using my lightest color here just to soften. Alright, I think that's good for now. We can always come back and touch up anything later. Alright, so let's set that aside. So I think I want to color, we'll save the clover for last. Let's do her dress. So let's do the green first. Dana says, I need to find a stamp that would be good for hair practice. All of these images are good for hair practice. There's also one, I can't think of what the name on Anne's, let me just see if I can find it here. Well, if you love Copic Markers, you need this one, but this one is perfect. It's fairly straightforward hair coloring. Or the lines are pretty straight, so it's wonderful to practice your flicking. But that one is Samantha, Make Your Own Rainbow. And yes, Anne says there's a practice sheet coming, which I am excited about. And then you can put all your favorite hair color combos on it for reference. Kevin said, I've seen all the Harry Potter movies and really loved them, but have no idea what was going on, probably because I didn't read the books and have only seen each one once in and out of order. Laugh out loud. Sorry if I'm reading, the message is kind of weird. I have the mount that's holding my camera is blocking half of the screen, so I kind of have to read underneath it. Alright, so for our green combo, I am using G21, G24, and G28. So this is our combo for green. So I am going to start by coloring her dress in, and I tend to keep the coloring on their clothes on the simpler side because I like to have the focus remain on their skin and hair. Alright, so that's with G28. Then we're going to go in with G24, and I'm just going to blend this out. Anne asked, how did you label your chow markers like that? I went online and looked up Copic chow labels, and one of the, it was a Copic artist that had just chows, and she had a download. So I just downloaded the sheet and just used a hole punch, and then punched it out, and then a glue dot to hold it on. And I'm slowly replacing all my chows with sketch, but they've held great for like 3 years. So, alright, so now to G21, and I'm just going to flick from the outside into, or from the area we haven't colored into the area we have, just because there is a bit of a gap between these two colors. Alright, and I'm just going to quickly go over this combo again. I like to do 2 layers of blending. I find you get the best blend that way. So that was G28, G24, and G21. And the second time I go about it, I'm a little lighter handed with it. Alright. So is everybody doing okay so far? Any questions? Alright, so now for these, since these are, in my mind, raised from the rest of the dress, I'm just going to color them in with our lightest color, the G21. And then I think I'm going to go with, I'm going to take the, nope, let's use the G28. And I'm just going to go, I'm going to use my G21 to the, what do you call this, the nib, I'm drawing a blank, pick it up with my lightest marker. This is tip to tip, and I'm just going to add a bit of shadow down the center and blend it out. Alright, so we've got the dress done. Alright, so let's do, I also colored in this area with the green. So I'm using the G21, and I'm just gonna color up like that. And again, let's do some tip to tip bullet, that's right. And I just picked up with the darkest color, so G21 to the bullet nib of the G28, just to get some darker color. And I think I'm going to go in with some G24 as well. Alright, so I think that is good, and I just need a scratch piece of paper here that I can. It's always get into good habit after you've done tip to tip. You want to just clean off the nib of your marker so you don't mess up a future drawing. I'm just going to put the lids on my markers. Alright, so let's go to the second. Alright, so we're next going to use this combo. So we have W9, W5, and W3. She said I would end up with green in my hair. Alright, so let's start with our darkest color, so W7. warm gray 7. And I'm just going to start right here. And I'm going to just break it up into chunks again. So that was W7, W5, and W3. Let's just get these in here. And again, I'm going to do 2 layers of blending. W5. Oops, I need to go to W7, sorry. W7, W5, and then W3. That's a nice blend. Alright, so same. Here, W7, I'm going to add it right there, and right here, as well as just in the arm, around the collar, and I think right about there. And then, so that was W7, W5, and W3. And I think for those areas, we'll just leave them at 1 blend. For my chows, I ran the labels through my Xyron sticker maker and put them on the caps. That's another great great option too. It's a good idea. Alright, so let's color her shoes. Alright, so I'm going to use W9. I don't know if this is going to show up. W9. And I'm just going to go from either side. And then we'll go right to W5, I think. And again, I'm going to go W9 and W5. Alright. And we need to color her stockings, so I'm going to grab out my greens again. And maybe before I do anything, I'm just going to go in with the W3 and just color in right here and then blend that out with my 0 just to add a bit of shadow. So my colorless blender. And it looks a bit wet right now, but once that dries, it should be good. And then for her stockings, I'm going to use, I think I'm just going to use the G24 and G21. And for that, I'm just going to go along the outside edge here. And then with the G21, I'm going to blend out. And again, go back to my G24. And then we'll color in the rest of these. And then with my W3, I'm just going to add some, I'm not coloring all of it, but just, you can't really see it on camera, but I'm more focusing on the one side and then flicking out. So that's that. Alright, let's cover up or recap my markers, make sure I put the right lids on the right markers. Has anybody ever done that before? Put the wrong marker cap back on? Dana asked, Anne, are you part of Kit and Clouder? I think I found the labels in the file section. I'll wait for Anne to answer that. All right, so for the clover, I'm going to use the following markers. Let's get these the right side up. So YG01, YG03, and YG07. So I'm going to start with YG07, and I'm just going to go from the inside with YG07 and brush out. We're not going for perfect the first round. Do you use something for highlights? What do you mean, Melvin? So YG03. And then YG01. Just to color in the rest of it. And I'm going to go over this gel pen. Melvin was referring to a gel pen. Yes, I will get to that next. I really only use, well, I'll just talk about it now. I really only use a gel pen or add highlights, and I do it for the eyes on these images. I'm personally not a fan when people use it. I think it looks cute on some images to add, like, you know, gel pen highlights to everything, like to the hair and that, but it's personally not my style. But I will do it for the eyes, and I'll show you how I do that next. So there we go, we've got our image all colored up. I'm not sure how long that's taken us to do. So my final touch I like to do, if I could find it, is I'll use the white gel pen by Uniball. So the Uniball Signo white gel pen, and I just like to use it. I'll just warm it up on my finger. Then I like to add just 2 little dots for the eyes. And there's our image all colored up. So let's put our card together. So if you downloaded all the cut files, you'll have a card ready to go. So I'm going to use the Feeling Lucky stencil from Stamp Anniething that Anne designed, and I am going to just mask this off. I think I'm going to use, I'll just use this masking tape to hold it. Let me just, maybe I'll move this up so everybody can see. Mel says she starts on her hand too, the gel pen. I know, it just, I don't know what it just warms it up. So yeah, here's our image for those. Anne says she has to make a big old dot on her hand too. Alright, so I'm going to start with some Distress ink with Twisted Citron. And this is going to just be our first layer. I'm just going to go over top of it. And like I said earlier, these stencils, you can do all sorts of fun techniques, use different mediums like texture paste or glazes, do resists. The only limit to these is your imagination. So I just kept this simple because I know a lot of people have distress inks. But if you haven't tried, I did a video a month or so ago on using texture paste with stencil. So check that out. That's in this group as well. All right, so that was Twisted Citron. I'm going to go in with some Mowed Lawn, and Anne says she loves stencils, and there's a ton more coming to Stamp Anniething. And I've seen them. You're gonna love it. And Mindy said, "Yay, stencils!" Yes, Mindy does amazing things on her card creations with stencils. If you look her up on Instagram, I believe it's Mindy Egan Designs. That's right. So I'm just going in with the Mowed Lawn and just hitting a few places. All right. Okay. And I think I'm just gonna blend, soften everything again with the Twisted Citron. All right, and I'm gonna take it off, and then we're gonna blend with some Twisted Citron. And you could just leave it like this too. I think that looks so cool. Jessie says she doesn't do stencils. I usually do watercolor backgrounds. All right, so what I did with this card, here's that. I went over with the Twisted Citron. So I'm gonna do that again, and just kind of softens it. Where did I put mine? I'm gonna keep this like that. All right. And I'm just going to go around the edges. Anne says, I can't wait for those new stencil brushes. I know, who's excited about the new Tim Holtz stencil brushes that are like the, they're like little lipstick containers with the bristles in it. It's going to be a game changer. I have the Clarity stencil brushes, and they're great too, but I think the price point of the Tim Holtz ones are going to be a lot more affordable. All right, and then I'm going to go in with some Mowed Lawn just around the outside. All right, let's just leave it at that for now, and we'll see what this looks like. Jessie says she has the Clarity stencil brushes. She has like 4 sets of them. I'm loving jumbo daubers lately. I have to try those again. I haven't used the jumbo ones in a while. I do have them. All right, so with the cut file, you have a matte version of this, so I'm just going to, let me see if I can zoom out. Nope, that's as far as it goes. If I zoom out any farther, you're going to see my messy desk, so I'm just going to leave it at this. And there might be something that people shouldn't see quite yet, so I'll just err on the side of caution. I don't want to get in trouble for sharing anything that shouldn't be shared yet. Heather said she got the Clarity ones for Christmas and hasn't used them. You need to. You're going to love them. All right, so I'm just going to matte this right on here, and I'm just using the Tombow Mono Multi. It's my favorite glue. We use whatever you got, whatever you're comfortable with. And I got a little bit of glue outside here. I'm just going to clear that up with my glue eraser. All right, step 1 done. Now where did I put? So next we have our banner sentiment. I have the ones you're using now, and my Velcro doesn't hold very well in the handle end. I replace mine every once in a while. If I use it a lot for blending, I'll replace my foam blenders. Usually it's like my, what do you call it, Salty Ocean, or no, Tumbled Glass is the one I go through the most. All right, so I'm just gonna line that up. All right, and I'm gonna grab some foam tape. Love the gum eraser. Yep, that's what I used for, is this going to be too wide? Nope, that's perfect. That's what I used to remove the glue. So I'm just going to put that in the back of here. And let's fit that on here. And I love to see what everybody does, you know, comes up with this. All right, so let me actually get this on my card base. Now, Anne gave you a cut file to do a top fold portrait. I'm just doing a side fold. That's my favorite. But she has it where you can just like literally cut everything out with your, if you have a electronic die cutting machine, or you know, like an e-cutter, like a Silhouette or a Cricut. She has all those files. All right, so let's get that on here. I'm impressed that you guys have all stayed with me here. I've had a good turnout today. Thank you for everybody for coming. All right, so before we put our girl on, let's get our inside. So we have So Lucky, and then this goes on the inside, To Have You in My Life. And this card I just think is perfect for all year round. It doesn't have to be used for the month of March. It can be used anytime and given to anyone you're grateful or feeling blessed to have in your life. It's the whole purpose of card making, is to give our cards away and show people that we care. All right, so let's put that on the inside. All right. Okay. Jessie says she should really use her cameo. Yes, you should. I had like the portrait version, and then when I was teaching the classes, I got the cameo, the Silhouette cameo, the big one, the newer one, and I love it. All right, so we've got our inside out and outside. And now I'm just going to put some foam tape on the back of our girl that we colored. Mel says, what a cute sentiment. I think it is a very cute sentiment. And we'll put some on the bottom of her feet. Let's just make sure I'm not going to... So just at the very bottom here, and then I'll put some there. All right. All right, so let's get her on here. There we go. And I got a bit of glue right here. I'll get that right off. Yeah, this is this glue eraser. It's amazing. It's by Xyron. If you don't have one, you need one. All right, so here is our finished card. I'm gonna zoom out. You'll see a bit of my messy desk. Don't judge. All right, so here we go. We're all done. So we have So Lucky, To Have You in My Life. And I'm sure we all know a lot of people that would we could give this card to. So yeah, so I hope this was really helpful. I'll stay on for a few minutes if anybody has any questions. Which paper do you use for paint? Which paper do you use? Sorry, I keep losing it. For painting, oh, for coloring with Copics. I use, it's Hammer Mill, and tagged it in this post. So if you want to know the paper I use, but it's Hammer Mill Color Copy Cover, and it's in 100 pounds. You can get it on Amazon, but it is linked in the messages here. You just have to look for it. But yeah, thank you to Anne for doing what you do and coming up with these wonderful images. Thank you to everybody for tuning in live. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments or send a message, and one of us will get back to you. So I hope you guys have a wonderful night, and we will see you guys in the next video. There is another coloring class coming up soon. I don't know if I can say anything about it, but you're going to love it. It's not being instructed by me, but you'll be so super pumped to see who is teaching it, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, I'm going to go before I say too much, and take care, guys. Bye.